So welcome, a very warm welcome to all of you, to everyone. Just a little background, this is the Sunday morning class of the Insight Meditation Community of Washington, IMCW, and sponsored by the Center for Mindful Living as well, which is part of IMCW and will be a physical community in Tenleytown in Northwest Washington, DC. And as probably you know, we've been online for the last, I think it must be coming up about 18 months now. And so it's been a long journey, and with many challenges and lots of gifts too. You know, one of the gifts is that we've been able to have people join us from all over the country and different parts of the world, and that's been wonderful. Having making those new friends, new friendships, and yeah, as heavily mentioned at the beginning, today will be a little bit different, somewhat improvised, just kind of see how things go. But what I wanted to do today was to have an opportunity to really create a space of community to remember and hold in our hearts those in our own lives, maybe families or loved ones who have passed on, who've died, and but include too just the larger suffering that is going on, has been going on, around, and certainly with COVID, the number of people in the US, I think just went over 630,000 people died from COVID in this last 18 months or so, and 4 million officially worldwide, although there is thought that the figure could be as much as 7 million people from the COVID, from the virus, the pandemic. And just the timing of this, this particular session, my mother died 3 years ago, and 2 years ago, when we were in person, we organized took that day as a kind of an invitation to everyone who wished to kind of bring into the circle, as it were, the community, loved ones that they've lost, who've passed on, and from this life. And it was a very, I think it was a very, very powerful experience. Excuse me. And I felt that and we'd been talking about doing something like this, and I thought this might be a good time. The invitation, maybe some of you are hearing this for the first time right now, and that's fine. And the invitation is to, if you would like to, excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat. If you would like to share a memory of a loved one, someone who's dear to you, who's passed, who's died. Many of you know, in the Jewish tradition, there's the tradition of practice of Yahrzeit, which is a kind of the year the beloved loved one has died, to remember them, to consciously remember them. And Cassie, who's part of our community, I don't know if Cassie is here today, suggested that back a couple of years ago, and and it was kind of out of that this tradition among us, at least, kind of began. And I have my yahrzeit candle here, lit, and I have my photos of some photos of my mom here on my little improvised altar, and here with a dear family friend. We were growing up, both have passed now, Josephine Hanley, and so if it speaks to you today, and if you would like to, a little bit later on, we'll begin with a meditation and a little bit of sharing. If you'd like to later on to share, as as heavily mentioned, that part won't be recorded and won't be shared publicly, so you can feel as free to share as you would like to today, in community. And we'll see how that goes time-wise. And some people might prefer to just share in the chat. Others might just prefer it as a kind of an inner practice and not have anything particularly you want to share today. But as we begin, I invite you to just connect right now with your own experience. I mean, what comes up for you? Maybe you are giving thought to it for the first time, and is there someone that you'd like to kind of consciously bring into your heart this morning, possibly share, in community today? Cassie shared a yahrzeit prayer, and I just maybe share that with you. At this moment, which bears the memory of our beloved, and whoever that is for you, let us join hands in love and remembrance. A link has been broken in the chain which has bound us together, yet strong bonds of home and love hold us each to the other. We give thanks for the blessing of life, of companionship, and of memory. We're grateful for the strength and faith that sustained us in the hour of our bereavement. Though sorrow lingers, we've learned that love is stronger than death. Though our loved one is beyond our sight, we do not despair, for we sense our beloved in our hearts as a living presence. So what I thought we could do is to begin, as we have been doing, with a period of meditation. I mean, I'll share some reflections in there, perhaps towards the end, and we'll take a little time for movement. Emily will lead us in some movement, and then we'll kind of consciously come back and do some sharing together. It can be very specific in terms of loved ones, but also inviting a holding in our hearts of the many, I mentioned 630,000 people who've died of COVID in the United States, and millions more worldwide, and all of those lives and all of their loved ones, and just the loss and the grief arising, as well of all of the pain and loss that has been experienced over these last 18 months. People not being able to visit loved ones, in care homes, and people, losing people we perhaps don't know personally, but we maybe love and respect, and not just obviously with the COVID, but others as well. You know, I think of John Lewis, great civil rights leader, you know, left us just over a year ago. And I was, I heard just the other day of the death of the folk singer Nancy Griffith, who I don't know many of you. I'm sorry if that's coming as a surprise. Sharon, yes, she died on Friday. You know, I loved her music, and I loved her heart. And yeah, so many have passed. And also just to hold in our hearts to the people of Haiti with another earthquake and the loss of life there, and the situation in Afghanistan with so much fear and uncertainty there as well, and just holding the people there and our hearts with loving kindness. So perhaps more than anything, just in inviting our, you know, us in whatever way we can to keep our hearts open to the suffering of the world and our own suffering, our own losses and our own grief, making space for that. And you know, it's a great gift of the Dharma, of the teachings and practices that we can cultivate the skills, the practices that can help us hold it all, hold all of the grief and the loss and the pain. This Joanna Macy said, the heart that breaks open can contain the whole universe. The heart that breaks open can contain the whole universe. Just holding to all of the suffering that's really coming as well, directly and sometimes indirectly from the climate crisis, from our Earth, the planet, you know, with the fires out on the west coast of the US and Canada and Greece and Turkey, and the floods and the droughts, and all of the expressions of human-caused climate change, and how that can bring up a lot of grief for us, you know, for our world, for the future, for future generations, for not just for the future because it's happening now, and holding all of that too, and inviting the heart to open enough so that we can act wisely and engage with what we can do to turn things around and to mitigate, you know, what's already, you know, baked into the change that's already happening from what we've been doing over many decades now in terms of carbon in the atmosphere, carbon dioxide. So let's begin with a period of time of meditation. Just invite you to take some moments to settle into a comfortable, relaxed posture. Just sitting in a way that's present, dignified, sense of presence. Let the chest be open so you can breathe easily. You could close your eyes if you like. Let the attention come inward, drop down, consciously dropping down out of the thinking mode, down into the body. Feel the body connected with what's beneath you, the chair or the cushion. Feel the contact, feel the weight of your body pressing down, feeling in Buddhism, in the Dharma, called the earth element, solidity, the solidity of the body connecting with the solidity of the surface beneath you. Inviting a receptive, kind attention to your experience. And as a way of helping yourself settle, you could take a few longer, deeper breaths, consciously inviting in a deep breath, filling the lungs, filling the chest, and then releasing long, slow out breath. Let the in-breath bring energy into the body, into the mind. And the out-breath relaxing the body, letting go of any holding, any tension, any tightness. Breathing in, calming the body. Breathing out, calming the mind. And as you connect with your breathing, you might invite a smile to your face. Again, just to help relax the nervous system, the body. It's helpful. You could think of somebody who makes you feel happy or joyful. Let the smile, if it can, come down into your heart. And invite an opening to whatever is present for you right now. Whatever's here, just letting it come, letting it be, letting it go, to relaxed, receptive awareness of your experience. You could take a moment to reflect on gratitude, some things in your life that you feel grateful for. Maybe a person or a condition comes into your mind, into your heart. Just take that in and appreciate it. Person, loved one, or some good fortune, health, security, practice, whatever. Just let yourself take it in, appreciate this gift, this grace. Gratitude can be a very powerful way of shifting out of our habitual focus on what we lack or what's wrong or what we're unhappy about. Just to turn the spotlight inward and appreciate what we have. Let your mind and heart open to what's present for you right now. Whatever's here isn't wrong. It comes out of causes and conditions. In this moment, we don't have any control over what's here, but we have a choice of how we meet our experience. So the invitation to meet what's present right now in the body, the heart, the mind, the spirit, with kindness and with acceptance. With care, with kindness. Holding what's present with kindness. If anything is difficult or challenging, it can be helpful just to put a hand on the heart, maybe on the belly, and just connect in a compassionate way with what's here, with what's showing up right now. I share Martha Postlethwaite's poem, Clearing. Well, for me, it's a reminder coming home. It says, do not try to save the whole world or do anything grandiose. Instead, create a clearing in the dense forest of your life and wait there patiently until the song that is yours alone to sing falls into your open, cupped hands and you recognize and greet it. Only then will you know how to give yourself to this world so worthy of rescue. So taking this time to step out of the busyness and the hustle and bustle of our lives, our to-do lists, and just creating a space here together in community for whatever's arising, for whatever's calling for attention. Holding it with kindness. when we step into the space, into the clearing, in the quiet, in the silence, in the stillness, we may be able to connect with a deeper knowing. Maybe connect more deeply with our heart. Transform what is difficult and painful because we're holding on tightly to it, to be able to let go. Just in the seeing with kindness, to be able to let go of habitual patterns, maybe, of holding. So if you feel the clutch of the heart, the tension in the body, when you notice that, you might just consciously invite that relaxing, open a space around it. Breathe into it. Holding what's present with care, with kindness, with acceptance. It can be helpful to have a focus for our attention, given the mind's tendency to kind of go into wandering into the past and into the future, daydreams, plans, memories. So we can use the breath as one focus that's connected very much to our bodies and our emotions. And just let that be our home base. Kind and friendly awareness of breathing. Breathing in, breathing out. Meeting the breath just as it is. If there's a tightness in the breath, or reflecting some tension in the body or worry in the mind, you might open up some space around it. Maybe let the breath deepen for a couple of cycles and then just relax back. Inviting a sense of ease, of letting go. the mind gets pulled into thoughts, plans, or memories, or daydreams, excuse me, and just notice that, that the mind's gone off into thought, and then kindly and gently just redirect the attention back to the body, back to the breath. If you can notice any feelings of pleasure or ease with the breath, you might just let your attention rest with those feelings. You know, it could be just that pleasant feeling of the breath coming into the nostrils, or a feeling of ease as the out breath releases some tension, perhaps. We could let the attention rest, that sense of ease or well-being, and that can help incline the mind to be more present, to stay, to be curious about the feelings. If you find your mind, your attention being pulled perhaps to a strong emotion, you could let your attention go from the breath and open to that emotion. If it's calling for attention, allow yourself to feel. Maybe there's some sadness or some fear. Just notice where you're feeling that in the body. Notice the sensations. And let your awareness kind of move there for a time, to allow the space to meet the feelings, the sensations with kindness and with care. And if it's sadness, just allow yourself to feel that emotion, how it feels in the body, maybe around the heart or around the face, around the eyes. Just making space so the feelings can come and go, that we don't resist or push them away, but allow the feelings to be present. And notice how it feels to make space, to allow what's here to be here, to come and to go in their own time. As Rumi speaks about welcoming the guests, quality of kindness and acceptance. making space for the feeling or the emotion, letting the energy, letting the feelings come and go, holding your experience with kindness, care, love. And if the feeling, the emotion lessens, can just gently, kindly let the attention go back to the breath. Share a reflection by Matt Licata via Buddhist teacher Vinny Ferraro shared this. Excuse me. It very much spoke to me. It's so easy to take for granted that tomorrow will come, that another opportunity will be given to bear witness to a sunset, take a walk in the forest, listen in awe to the birds, or share a moment of connection with the one in front of us. But another part knows how fragile it truly is here, how tenuous, and how this opening will not be here forever. It's so easy to fall under the trance of postponement and the spell of tomorrow. At the end of this life, it's unlikely we'll be too concerned with whether we accomplished all the tasks on our to-do lists, played it safe, or resolved our unending self-improvement project. Inside these hearts, there may be only one burning question: how well did I love? One day we will no longer be able to look at, touch, or share a simple moment with those we love. When we turn to them, they will be gone. One moment will be our last to experience awe at a color or a fragrance, or the blooming of a violet, or to enter into union with the vastness of the sea. It will be our last chance to see a universe in a drop of rain, to have a moment of communion with a friend, or to weep as the light yields to the night sky. One last moment to have a thought, feel an emotion, fall in love, or listen to a piece of music. To know heartbreak, joy, sorrow, and peace. To behold the outrageous mystery of what it truly means to be a sensitive human being. What if today is that last day, or tomorrow, or later this week? Knowing that death will come, how will we respond to the sacred and brief appearance of life? Perhaps our, quote, life's purpose has nothing to do with what we've fantasized it to be about, but simply to fully live, to touch each moment with our presence and our one wild heart, and do whatever we can to help others, to hold them when they are hurting, to speak kind words, to listen carefully to the ways they are attempting to make sense of a world that has gone a bit mad, to slow down and bear witness to the erupting miracle of the other as it appears in front of us. Perhaps this is the most radical gift we can give, to offer ourselves as a true healing space in which love can find its way and come alive here. And just open to whatever comes up for you, whatever comes up in response to that reflection. Whatever it is, just holding it with kindness. And meeting your experience right now with kindness, with acceptance. This moment, whatever we're experiencing, is always available to us. All we need to do is just step out of the stories in our minds that we get so habitually caught up in. Our worries, our fears, our plans, our memories. And just to come back to this breath, this feeling, this emotion, this breath. David White says, enough, these few words are enough. If not these words, this breath. If not this breath, this sitting here, this opening to the life we have refused again and again until now. Until now. This training of the heart and the mind to open to our life and to life. Come out of the stories and the virtual reality. Here, now. This breath, this sound, this moment. And if there's someone or ones that you would like to invite into your heart, into our space together, perhaps already alive here, just invite their presence here. Held in loving kindness. Held in this space of acceptance and care. Finish with these words from Mary Oliver in Blackwater Woods. Look, the trees are turning their own bodies into pillars of light, are giving off the rich fragrance of cinnamon and fulfillment. The long tapers of cattails are bursting and floating away over the blue shoulders of the ponds, and every pond, no matter what its name is nameless now. Every year, everything I have learned in my lifetime leads back to this, the fires and the black river of loss, whose other side is salvation, whose meaning none of us will ever know. To live in this world, you must be able to do three things: to love what is mortal, to hold it against your bones, knowing your own life depends on it, and when the time comes, to let it go, to let it go. Invite Emily, if you like, to lead us in some mindful movement.
All to rise and feel your feet swaying softly and gently from side to side. And then come to center and turn your palms up and allow your arms to rise and gather the energy of the sun and the clouds, the stars, and the moon, and bring that to your heart. And then gather the energy here, the love and compassion, the kindness, and bring that to your heart. And then gather the energy of the earth, that which provides so much abundance, and bring that to your heart. And then open up wide and allow your arms to encompass the space around you, switching your weight from one foot to the other. And then come to center, deep breath in, drawing the energy from your root chakra, from the base of your spine. And then bring your arms down and come into cactus arms. Exhale, lower. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lower. Inhale, rise up. And then extend your arms out, turning your left palm up and the right palm is down. And then look over that left palm. And with an inhale, switch, turning the right palm up. And then switch, turning the left palm up. And switch, turning the right palm up. Turn both palms down and lower down, bringing your hands above your knees to come into a flat back. Extending here, lengthening your spine, and then lower. Allow the earth to receive your energy. Feeling the pull of gravity, allowing your hips to come slightly behind your heels to reach out and then lower down. You don't have to go far. Just to be received by the earth. And then place your hands above your knees and roll up your spine, allowing your shoulders to come up to your ears and then roll them independently. And then the other way. And then bring your hands to heart center. And release your energy to the sky and to us and the earth. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. It was lovely. What I'd like to invite you to do in a few minutes is if there's someone you would like to remember, someone, a loved one, just to share, as you would like to, on them and your connection and love. Invite you to do that in a way that feels appropriate to you. If you like to do it, lovely if folks want to share orally, and we won't be recording. Or if you prefer, you can share in the chat. I want to just share a little bit about maybe just to start off. My mother's anniversary was last Wednesday, just past the 11th of August. She died, and I was actually in the process of finishing writing a book on mindfulness and habit change, and I shared it in the book. It came out a little after, and I would just share what I reflected there. I said it's kind of called Gratitude, a Personal Story. As I was beginning to write this book, my mother died. She was 91 years old and a mother of 9 children, with 21 grandchildren and 11 great-grandchildren. I think that's gone up to about 19 now. With nieces and nephews having children of mine. She was the kindest person I've known, and all my thoughts of her begin and end with gratitude. Her life took her from New York, where she was born, to Irish immigrant parents, to the fishing village in southwest of Ireland, to which they returned when the Great Depression hit, and where she spent a happy childhood, to England, where she moved in the mid-1940s and lived the remainder of her life and raised her family. Her life was far from easy, raising 9 children on a postal worker's wages in the years after the war, and she struggled to make ends meet. Like so many mothers, her children came first. She carried me up the hill to the hospital when I poured a pot of boiling treacle on my chest as a toddler, bathed, fed, and clothed us all, and helped us with our homework, even composing poems for my brother and me when our creative juices ran out. She loved to walk, and I'm grateful to have had the chance to spend many happy days walking with her along small country lanes in Ireland and in the great national parks of the American Southwest, and to remember the simple joy of sitting and reading the newspaper, enjoying the sun in her cottage garden. I'm grateful that she lived long enough that there was nothing that felt left unsaid or unforgiven. No regrets, many joyful moments to remember, and enough opportunity to thank her for a beautiful life well lived. I'm grateful that in the week after she died, I was able to visit her at the funeral home daily, sit with her as she began her onward journey, and thank her for all the love and kindness she'd given our family and everyone she came in contact with throughout her life. The chance to spend time with her after her death was one of the most powerful experiences of my life, for which I'm grateful. It allowed me to feel connected with her spiritually as her post-life journey continued, or at least my sense of that. I experienced times of connecting with her in meditation, and particularly in the mornings, in the state between sleeping and waking. We'd be walking together on a path in low foothills, few words. It was a connection that I could tap into with some ease. I'm grateful that 45 days after she died, I woke up from a dream in which I was with my mother as she moved up and into the light. It was the most powerful dream I can remember in my life. It felt as real as anything else I've known, of her moving from one realm to another. As I drove home later that day, a big orange full moon hung like a lantern in the sky. Ever since, though the sadness of missing my mother remains, I've had a felt sense that she's safe, well, and peaceful, and I have no concerns or worries for her. As I reflect on my mother's life and death, gratitude spontaneously arises. There's so much to be grateful for. And in the weeks after her death, sadness came in waves, but all the grieving was held in an open field of gratitude. The gratitude was large and spacious enough to hold everything that came up. And when I felt stressed or burdened, I chose to shift my thoughts to the gratitude I felt for my mother. And with attention, my mental state would shift and become more spacious. Gratitude became my main meditation practice, the place I returned to. And as I inquired into the power of gratitude, I realized that what I was most grateful for was the unconditional love she gave me and all our family. It's the teaching I take from her life, her transmission of unconditional love that I experienced and can share with others. So sharing that and just wanting to invite her and her memory into our circle together and invite anyone who'd like to share in whatever way feels right for you right now. Could be just internally, but could be sharing with all of us. And I'll just ring the bell to kind of invite her in.